back with another episode of On the Record with Tiffany here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. And also we can be seen on TAAN TV, where we have a local feel and a global reach. And I'm here with the creator of TAAN TV, Laura Thompson, and the visionary for everything African American, or many things African American in this community and beyond. Laura, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just great.
You're
Couldn't
looking
be better.
great.
Couldn't
You're
be
looking
better.
great.
Well, thank you.
I know you just recently lost your mom, and I just want to say I'm sorry for your loss. She was a giant in this community.
Yes, ma'am. She was.
And your family is respected and loved, and you are respected and loved by me and my family. So I just want to let you know that we're praying for you, and we're with you every step of the way. Whatever you need, you got us.
Okay.
Whether you want us or not.
I want a brand new powder blue Bentley.
Well, now I don't know about that, girl. Maybe a black Bentley. No.
Yeah, custom with the steering wheel on the right side instead of the left. How about that?
Now, when I see you driving down the street in a powder blue Bentley, what am I supposed to do when that happens?
I don't know. Get in the back seat and I'll drive you around.
I'm going to be thumbing for a ride. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have that thumb out.
Then I'm going to tell you to switch seats and you drive and I ride.
I don't have a problem with that. So tell us a little bit about you as a leader, because it's not an easy thing to decide that you want to do some of the things that you've done. You've run for office. You've started a network. Like, how many people do either of those things, or even have the agency to feel like they can? What is it about Laura Thompson that makes you tick? What makes you just go, okay, I'm going to do this? And then just, because I have personally watched you decide that you're going to run your network, which you have been working on all this time, put it together, lay out a strategic plan, put your partners together and in their particular positions in your strategic plan, and execute around it, which is a very cool thing to watch.
Well,
but most people don't think that way.
Right. Well, number one, it's not hard for me to start. I just think I have so many ideas, written down that I haven't even done. I won't say I haven't thought about doing them, but I haven't done. So it's never been hard for me to start or decide. Once I make up, I don't know where the ideas come from. They just pop in my head, and some of them I do and act on, and some of them I don't. So, I don't really, I may be leading somewhere, but I really don't think about being a leader necessarily. I just do what I do. I do projects that I want to do. I ran for office because that's something that was a childhood dream. I wanted to do it, and the time was right for me to jump in there and do it, and so I did it. So I don't really hesitate if it's something that I really want to do. I don't really hesitate to just do it. Like I said, I want to bring all these speakers in. And they were like, oh, Lord, there she goes.
But the thing about it is that you will take something from idea to benchmark. You will take it from, I'm thinking about this, and build an entire plan around it, execute, give everybody their parts in the plan, and you know what it's going to be, how it's going to be, and it's successful.
Well, she makes it sound so smooth. It ain't necessarily that smooth. but you know, I do. I think it. I plan it.
I mean, she does
set
some
goals and
incredible stuff.
then implement it.
And she has this way with, you know, I read this years ago. A great leader isn't just leading. A great leader grows up other leaders.
Well, you know, I just took a test. I have an executive coach, and I just Dr. Donna Speaks Armstrong.
Everybody hear that name, Dr. Donna Speaks Armstrong, because if you need somebody that's helping you, if this lady's using Donna Speaks Armstrong, Dr. Donna Speaks Armstrong, then you might want to check her out.
Yeah, but she had me take these 2 tests, and I was considered a mentor. I mean, what type of leader? And it was a mentor leader. And then there was another. They asked me what. I forgot the other one, but they said I was a meta something. It means I have a unique style or innovative style of making things happen.
Those are both true.
And I tried hard. You know, you know, the answers were kind of similar, but not. And you try hard to really pick the right one. And then I would think, you know, it's not really going to tell me who I am, but it does. Mm-hmm. It does all the time.
Well, I mean, those 2 things are, from my personal observations of you, that's true. Because I've seen you definitely take a mentoring position with me and with other people that need it.
Mm-hmm. Well, my parents and my people in the community always said I should be a teacher or a counselor. And I'm often a counselor.
Yes.
And a teacher, well, a social worker. They told me that I would be a social worker or a teacher, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't want to do that. But on a larger scale, if you really look at, you know, looking back and looking at what I do, it is some form of teaching and some form of social work.
I would say that that's true.
But not just having people come in and out of the door solving problems. I don't want to do that. I don't want to hear that.
But I will say, you know, back on how innovative you've been and just coming up with an idea and working around it. A prime example of that is Work is the New Hustle. I mean, Work is the New Hustle, like, totally has captivated so many people. Everybody who hears it, Constable Cat Brown loves Work is the New Hustle. My 2 daughters, we listen to Work is the New Hustle going to school. We listen to it coming home from school. We listen to it at the house. But the concept with the kids, like that.
I've always worked with kids. I worked with kids since the 90s. Mm-hmm. So I've always done like citywide pep rallies, citywide youth forums, role model luncheons. Just I always come up with innovative ideas, the Read and Lead program. I just come up with ideas to help draw kids in. A lot of people say, well, how do you find all the kids? Well, do something that they're interested in. Do it in a way that will draw them in and attract them. You know, the standard way, because I didn't learn the standard way. Mm-hmm. You know, I learned a lot of things on my own. All of my books stayed in my locker from the time I was assigned a locker, you know, till I graduated from high school. I never took my books out of my locker. I would just study whatever the teacher said would be on the test or whatever they taught in class. I would memorize it, and that's how I learned. I could have been on the honor roll, but I wasn't, because I never studied. But I wasn't interested in the stuff that they were teaching me because I knew what I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think those things would help me. And so I didn't really focus on them. I just kind of memorized what I needed to memorize to pass the test, not necessarily to make an A on the test, but just to pass.
So you knew what you wanted to be. What did you want to be at that time?
I wanted to be in advertising. I was a big billboard lover when I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
I would ride around with the family and I would talk about the billboards when they would be talking about family stuff. And they were like,
Mm-hmm.
What is she talking about?
So there was a little bit of prophecy there on what was going to happen with you next.
Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to be a lot of stuff. And my mother was just afraid. She would say, she's always saying she's going to do all these things. And I said, I am. I didn't say I was going to do them all at the same time, but I am going to do them. And so I've had a lot of ideas that I do now, that I've done since I was an adult, that, as a child, I would watch TV or see something and I want to do it. Like when the Spurs first came to San Antonio, I went, they had a job opening where they needed people to sell the advertising banners that go on courtside.
Mm-hmm.
And, I came in third. I didn't get the job. I was very upset about that because that was something that I was intrigued. I would watch sports and see the sponsors' banners and logos. And so, that was drawn to that as a kid.
And so you did go into advertising.
Mm-hmm. I had a media and public relations firm for 16 years.
So you already knew from a little bitty girl that you were going to do this. You were just driven like that as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Well, I used to watch Bewitched, and that was an advertising agency that they ran.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, I'm gonna have one of those, and I'm gonna have ideas, but I'm gonna be Larry Tate. I'm not gonna be Darren. But I was gonna be Darren too, because Darren came up with all the good ideas.
Well, Larry just stole all of Darren's ideas.
Well,
I watched Bewitched too.
He never believed in Darren. He said, I'm gonna make you a partner. He's son of a gun and never did.
Mm-hmm. Larry was a little bit unsavory in that sense. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to be doing during Dream Week?
We're going to have a mixer for 300 Voices for individuals anybody that wants to come, but people that were featured in the 300 Voices project. We're going to invite them back out. We're going to do some like history cards. Mm-hmm. For some of the people that were in the book. It'll have probably the ones that have passed away, just the picture of them, and then on the back, a few facts about them that we learned about them from the 300 Voices interviews.
And are you going to do another run of the book to sell at the...
What, the Who's Who book?
Mm-hmm. No, of the Who's Who book. Are you going to do another run of that book?
I hadn't planned on it.
Well, I mean, if you're doing the cards, I just wondered if you might do another run so that we could have the possibility.
Well, the 300 Voices was digital video. The Who's Who books are print. So
you're like, no. Okay, I just wondered.
I just do projects and I kind of move on, do them and move on, do them and move on.
Well,
and I don't go back like with Sisters in Business. That it was a 10-year run, and I don't go back. And that's really the longest project that I've ever done, is besides my business, besides Larry Thompson Agency, just particular projects. That's probably the longest I've ever done projects under one umbrella.
What about your other book that you wrote about yourself?
I've written 2 books. One is on My Way to the Top.
On My Way to the Top. That's the one I'm thinking of.
And my first book was Beneath the Mask. It's a book of poetry because I'm a poet.
Have you thought about those 2 books at your 300 Voices?
I hadn't.
Please think about that. Please think about that for those of us who are Lord Thompson fans.
Well, I thought about republishing them and re-releasing them, but not necessarily there. But I
Well,
thought
think
about
about republishing and re-releasing.
it. Yeah, I'm gonna do
And
that.
what about another one?
I'm gonna do a sequel to
Yeah.
On My Way to the Top, because at the end I said I'm not finished yet. I'm still on my way to the top. Is the ending sentence.
So let's see the next.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know when that will happen. It's just On My Way to the Top. I kind of wrote that, and it took me a while to write it because I would write as I experienced stuff or remembered experiences. I would write them. Beneath the Mask, I did that in 2 weeks.
But that's your poetry, like you.
But
are
still,
so.
yeah. But still, it takes. It was just a lot of.
I'm amazed that you did that in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I did it at night. I had my agency and I worked long hours, and I would do it at night before I went to sleep.
Wow.
So
That in and of itself, you should do a teaching series for young poets just on that.
people are always giving me all this additional work.
Well, I'm giving her some more work.
Yeah,
I'm giving her some more work, y'all. I mean, hey, you can't be a visionary and not expect people to want you to do more of the wonderful things that you're doing. But poetry,
I'm flattered though. But
when you write stuff, even posts, like I sit there reading some of your posts and I'm like, this should be in the book or on the cover of something someplace, or
I just think of stuff and write it.
But it's always very heartfelt. Like the people who are reading it, that it reaches into them, and that everybody can't do that. Some people can. They write, and that's good.
They think it's like music, Some are major hits, and some are they all right.
Yeah.
but they don't go gold or platinum or.
Well, some things, like when you hear it, it's really catchy. Like, I got to come back to Work is the New Hustle. Work is the New Hustle is such a catchy song. And the concept behind it, like the way that you put this together. Work is the New Hustle, for my audience who may not know what it is, it is a program that Laura put together for kids and for that connects the children with law enforcement. Laura, will you tell our audience like what your concept was on it?
Just that you explained it.
That's it, right?
Just that. It's real simple. It's more so for the kids to, develop a strong work ethic, to enjoy work, to be motivated to work, to understand that they have to work in order to eat and make a living and prosper. You can write your own ticket if you're willing to work for it. Write it.
And she made it super fun, and they got to work with financials. They learned how to do a little budget and how to shop within that budget. And they provided, Laura got a bunch of sponsors, HEB being one of them. And HEB provided gift cards. And Laura had, which group taught the financials?
Comerica Bank.
Comerica Bank taught the financials, and just really brought it together so that the kids were getting practical training. They felt, if you listen to the song that they made with a real producer, I mean, from beginning to end, the children had a good time, but they also learned valuable skills. And to listen to them on that song, like you can hear that they're engaged. They're all about the program, and some of the stuff you told me, like as they got into it, you saw a transformation in the kids.
Well, they understood what work was and responsibility. We're working on the music video now. They've been practicing, and that part of it is harder than the doing the lyrics and the song part. And so they were saying, "This is hard, Miss Laura." I said, "Yes, you got to work. Sometimes you got to work harder in order to get it done. But if you want to do your music video, you're gonna have to learn the choreography part of it too." So, it motivates them to work to reach their goals. I don't think that kids or people are really motivated to really just reach their goals. They're just kind of given a job to do and a task, and that's it. You just do this. You rubber stamp this every day. That's all you do every day. You don't do nothing else. But there's more in people than just like routine stuff. Although you do have to have a routine and certain habits and discipline in order to do things. But you can use those habits and discipline to do great things, and not just low level stuff that you dread going to work. People should not have to dread to go to work because you spend so much time at work. People should do the things that they enjoy doing, and matched up kind of with their skills and their passion needs to be matched up. And then they can be happy at work, and you can make a lot of money like that.
Especially when you enjoy what you're doing. You're right about that. Like if you love what you do, then the financial gain will come. But you have to have a love and a passion for what you're doing. And I can definitely see that in in you and what you do.
Well, it's a lot of hard work, but I like it. Sometimes I don't like to do it, but I just want to see the end result. It's like I want to have this vision, and then it's done. Like Bewitched.
Oh, I wish that were the case with everything. If we could just snap our fingers and it was completed to our
just
liking.
Do like this, like Tabitha.
Laura, it's been wonderful talking with you as always. Here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, our host for On the Record with Tiffany, and we can be seen on TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with a global reach. And remember that tagline is ours, a local feel with a global reach. When you hear that, you know that it is the African American Network Television. All right. Thank you, Laura. And do you have any parting words for our audience?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate the opportunity. Every time I come on, I've had a great time, and hanging out with Tiffany on the record.
All right. Have a great day. And remember, we're more alike than we are different. Listen to other perspectives. That's the only way you know that what you believe is the right thing for you. All right. Have a great day.